And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Let's Chat Live with Tina. So this morning, I have just come offline with my lovely, or some of my lovely team, and for our coffee chat and chatting about all sorts of things and where we are in the business and what we can strategize with. Quite a few laughs as well, and then I just let slip something. I was trying to keep quiet because I got bubbled, and it's just like, yeah, exciting times ahead, exciting times ahead. But so I hope you're all having a fabulous, fabulous day. Sunday morning here, it's 11 a.m. just after. So let me know who's watching. Let me know where you're coming from. I would love to hear. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tina Willis, and I am an online digital business coach and mentor. And what I do is I help women globally to set up a legitimate business in the online space. For those of you who want to escape corporate life or create a retirement plan or that plan B to become your plan A, however it may look for you, that's what I do. And I will be sharing this video to my personal page and also into clips in Instagram as well. So today I wanted to talk about something because it came up, how much we've changed in this business in our coffee chat that we've just had. And I want to ask you, when was the last time you did something for the very first time? Can you tell me? Can you put it in the chat? You know, I don't mean because you had to, all right? I don't mean that your boss told you to or somebody needed something from you, you know. Something that you actually simply thought, oh, I'd love to try that. When was the last time? Because it's really strange when you think back. You know, when we were kids, our lives were full of first times. You know, think about it. Your first day at school, the first time riding a bike. I remember falling off it completely all the time. The first sleepover you had at your mate's house, or the first concert you ever went to. I can remember actually the very first album I ever listened to, and that was 10cc back in the day. You know, the first holiday you went on with your parents. Or does anybody remember their first kiss? I do. My first kiss was sitting on the school steps with a guy called Julian, and I was 9 years of age, and I went to a convent school, guys. We were caught by the nuns, reprimanded and put on detention, and I got the ruler. But I remember it vividly. You know, I remember the first job I had. I remember my first car was a Mini. Who can remember those first times and those first things they ever did? Or maybe it was traveling on your own. When was your first time you ever travelled on your own? Mine was, I went on a horse trekking trip with my friend Jackie back in the day. I think I was 13, and it was the first time I'd ever actually been away on my own. But we were constantly doing things that we'd never done before. It was the first time for everything. Do you remember that expression? It's the first time for everything. So let me know. I can see I've got quite a few people watching. Let me know in the chat. And, you know, maybe some of them back then scared the living daylights out of us, but we did them anyway. You know, we were kids. We were brave. We didn't worry about anything. And then all of a sudden, we became grown up. You know, and life just started becoming familiar. You know, we get up at roughly the same time. We drive the same route to work. We go to the same job. We speak to the same people. You know, we shop in the same supermarkets or same places. We watch the same programs. Sometimes we even go to the same holiday destination because we know how everything's going to be. And there's nothing wrong with having a routine. There isn't, you know. I actually think sometimes it can be lovely. There's something about comfort, knowing exactly what you're doing and where you belong. And that's okay. But I do sometimes wonder whether being comfortable with the familiar, maybe that we forget how exciting it is to discover something new. Does anybody agree with that? You know, and I think as we get older, it becomes even more important because somewhere along the way, we have this in our heads that exciting things only happen to younger people, you know, that by the time we're 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or whatever age, we should have it all figured out by now. We should be sensible, you know. Who decides that? Who decides where those thoughts come from, you know? And I'm not buying into it, guys. I'm not. Some of the biggest firsts of my life came so much later on, you know. I started building an online business at the age of 57. I had absolutely no idea what to do when I started. We've just been talking about that in our coffee chat. You know, there were things I learned in that probably I couldn't even pronounce. I didn't even know what a funnel was, you know. And I certainly didn't wake up one morning thinking to myself, oh, I'd love to learn about technology and social media. No, I didn't. But I did learn, you know. And then there was the first, hi Steph, hello lovely. Yeah, it feels great, doesn't it? Feels so good. And then there was the first time that I spoke on stage and talked about things that really mattered to me. You know, I talked to people about my journey and what I had to overcome and mindset. Then there was the first time I recorded a podcast. Never done that before in my life. And I started that this year. I'm on episode 13. It's just been released on, it's being released on Monday, you know. Or the first time I wrote a book. Again, this year. You know, and that still really blows my head a bit. You know, because for years I had all those words and thoughts inside of me. But actually writing it down and writing a book, that belonged in something that somebody else would do. Not me, you know. That, oh, it'd be lovely one day if I wrote a book. But I never thought I'd do it. And then now I'm challenging myself to create songs. Yeah, I'm using some AI in there because that's a tool that we have to use for the good. But all those words and all those thoughts are in my head and I'm putting them onto paper to put into AI. It's amazing and I love what I do because I love music. And if you told me that corporate Tina years ago, you know, if you told me that person 7 years ago that I would be writing books, recording podcasts, creating songs, speaking on stages, building a business online, doing go lives like this, I'd have said, get out of town, you know? I'd have been saying, you've been drinking, are you on the funny stuff? Because that's the point of it all. We don't know what else we're capable of because so many of us haven't tried it yet. Think about that and put it in the chat, guys. You know, there could be something that you absolutely love doing that you don't even know you love yet. Because life is bringing so many new opportunities to you to try. You know, there could be a place that becomes your most favourite place in the world, you know, that you've never visited. There could be a hobby that completely lights you up that you've never tried. There could be people who become so incredibly important in your life who you haven't met yet. And I'm still meeting them. And you know, I will be forever grateful for all the people in my life from this online business community, and so many are watching now. So grateful because I have discovered friendships that I treasure. And I think, guys, that's so incredibly exciting because at the age of 63, there is still so much that I still want to experience. And, you know, if you're watching, please put something in the comments, or if you watch this replay, what's something you've always wanted to try? What's something that you've always wanted to do? Doesn't have to be life-changing. It might be you've wanted to learn to dance or to paint or to draw or go fishing or do abseiling or travel somewhere on your own or learn another language, write a book, write a podcast, learn an instrument, you know, whatever it feels like. It could be that you want to run a marathon. Leave me out of that one because I won't be doing that. But, you know, maybe you just want to change something in your life, however it may look, or start something of your own to build. You know, maybe you simply want to walk into a restaurant and order your own meal because you never felt confident enough to do so and you've always left it to your partner to do. There's so many women out there who feel like that, you know. So have you ever, my question today is, have you ever thought about something that you really want to do but never actually done it? And while you're thinking about that, you know, put it in the chat for me, guys. While you're thinking about that, there's something else I've noticed, and some of you might agree with this, is that we often talk ourselves out of trying things because we think we need to be good at them first. And that might drop with you now, because I want to ask you why. Who said that? Why can't we be absolutely rubbish at something new? When did we have to become so serious about life? You know, you're allowed to dance badly. You're allowed to sing terribly. You're allowed to burn the first thing you try and cook. You can start learning a language and completely pronounce everything wrong. You know, I've done it all the time, you know. You can try something and decide, nope, I absolutely hate it, I ain't doing it again. Because you have choices, okay? Because the point isn't you don't have to be brilliant at something all the time. Just simply the point is you're actually experiencing it, that you can say you've done it. You know, we totally lose that as adults, and it's so sad. No, I know that people feel that, because I used to feel that. But the 7 years of my life with this business has given me all that experience. And I want more of it, guys. I want so much more of it. I ain't over yet. You know, I have got years ahead of me that I want to experience. And knowing that I can do it, I'm out there to do it. You know, but we lose ourselves as adults, and it's so sad. We always come focused on the what ifs, the outcomes, you know. Will I be good at it? What if I fail? Will it make me money? What will people think of me? And sometimes the answer is simply, I just wanted to try it. You know, that's enough for you. So I've got a little challenge for you this Sunday. Sometime in the next 30 days, do one thing you've never done before. And I actually challenged a group of amazing ladies before this go live, when we had our coffee chat, that they are going to do for 30 days in September. All right? And if you end up watching this, ladies, that challenge is on. 1st of September, 30 days, don't forget. But, you know, do something. If you're watching this or watching the replay, there's just one thing you've never done before in your life. You know, it doesn't have to cost you a fortune. You don't have to fly halfway around the world. You know, it could be something small. You know, order something you've never eaten before. Take a different route to work you've never done before because you want it. Go to a new class and dance. You know, try something new. Try something you always said you couldn't do. Book something you always want for that experience. Just do one thing and see how it makes you feel. Because every time we do something small, we remind ourselves of something really important. We're still growing, guys. You know? We're still discovering who we are. We're still capable of surprising ourselves. And most importantly, we're still bloody alive. How good does that feel? You know? I really don't want to reach a point in my life where my favourite stories start with, oh, you know, years ago I used to do this, or years ago I used to do that, or years ago I was a different woman. I don't want that. I want to be able to say to people, you'll never guess what I did last week. You know, that's the woman that I'm becoming. Open, still learning, still trying things. You know, I want to slide into my coffin sideways, guys, and say, boy, what a rush I had. I did it, you know, and I know that's going to happen. Don't know about the sliding bit, but I know that's going to happen, you know, so just do it. Just do it. And that's my Sunday for you. What could be that little challenge for yourself in September? Put it in the comments if you're brave enough. You know, maybe actually saying it and writing it down is that little first step to actually doing something for you. So have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Have an absolutely amazing time. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me. I love you lots. And, you know, whoever decided that all those firsts needed to happen when we were kids was talking absolute crap. You know, there's still a lot of blank pages left for you to fill. So let's put something interesting in it. So take care, guys. I will see you all soon. And thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.